do you have 7.5 years, and then you end up in friggin' rehab?
An addiction's an addiction, and man, if you're here, your life's a mess.
If they hear one more life story, I think I'll hang myself.
They destroyed my family, everything. They're angry, it's okay.
Because I can't let her grow up without a father.
Do you think that's going to be enough, being concerned about your daughter?
Maureen, I'm gonna f my life up, I'm gonna go out and use drugs. Is that what you did?
No.
It ain't about the drugs and alcohol. It ain't about the gambling. That is just a symptom. There's something more.
It's no fun anymore. Party's over.
People think all you have to do is just say no. Just stop. And the reality is some people can do that. But there's about 10% of the population that just can't do that.
I've been getting high for 25 years. I'm surprised I'm not already dead.
My compulsive gambling addiction was taking control of my life.
It feels internally like I just need it.
This disease strikes at any time.
I can't express how perfect my addiction was.
I want to be better, and I want to be better now. You know, just like any addict.
Addiction, an uncontrollable compulsion to repeat a behavior regardless of its negative outcomes. Addicts know the consequences of their addiction. Fractured relationships, lost opportunities, squandered money, wasted lives. But addicts can't stop their behavior. This is a very real illness with very real underlying causes. That is why there is rehab. We followed 5 people at the Care Rehab in North Palm Beach, Florida, through every pain, fear, and frustration. This is the story of John, Connie, Stephanie, Jason, and Maureen, and their 28 days in rehab. Addiction doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone, anytime, anywhere.
Sometimes, I do question whether or not being a compulsive gambler, this is the right industry for me.
John is 33 years old, works on Wall Street, and lives in New Jersey. He is a recovering alcoholic with a gambling habit that has spiraled out of control. His addiction has taken his home and is destroying his career. After his eviction and suspension from his job, John found shelter at a YMCA. He gets dressed up every day, but really has nowhere to go.
Well, this is where I was living for the past 2 years. I ended up going through very large sums of money very quickly and decided not to pay the rent. Eventually, they sued me for eviction. And for the first time in my life, I pretty much became homeless. The last 9 months, I've been at the track 6, 7 days a week, lying to friends of mine, lying to colleagues, lying to family. And then the last 3 weeks have just been going out of my mind, basically. I would say that my gambling most affected my mother.
I think he really feels he's hit rock bottom, and I think this will be the beginning for him, and he's just going to have to work very hard and come out on top.
There's a couple of establishments right here that I've drank at before and gambled at before many times, and to be honest, walking by here is probably not the most comfortable feeling in the world. It's just bringing back a lot of memories about when I first confronted my alcoholism and tried to confront the gambling. There's probably people I still owe money to from in that location right there from, God knows, from 4 years ago practically. And, that's sick. I don't want to be that person anymore. There's no way in hell I want to be that person.
Maureen is 39 years old, a mother of 3. She has abused drugs for over 20 years. Her crack addiction has led to her being evicted from her home. Her daughters will live with their father. Maureen has nowhere to go.
Where'd you put all the nuts and bolts?
I've always been high every day. If I'm not high on Coke, either booze or pills or something. I mean, when I was 14, I was addicted to Quaaludes. I've been addicted to one drug or another my whole life. My oldest daughter doesn't live here, but the middle one and the youngest one, they do live here, and they did find a crack pipe.
She didn't tell me she was using again. I didn't know that until today.
As far as I know, her primary drug is crack, but who knows what else. I try my best just to let it go. I mean, there's not much I can do about it.
I can't say I trust her or respect her even.
I would think they would be ashamed of me. I'm ashamed of me.
I think maybe she's probably gonna mess up again like she did before. And I really, really hope she doesn't. I really hope she does right this time.
You cannot just stop. It's not that easy. I don't know how to stop. Hey, what's going on? Hello? Hey, how are you?
Maureen calls her drug dealer. She wants to get high before going to the care rehab facility.
I'm gonna get high as soon as you leave. It's gonna be my last hurrah before I stop. I know you're busy, but like as soon as possible. Can I be your first stop? All right, thank you.
Love you too, Mom.
That was my drug dealer. I called my dealer. I'll give it to you for a week, but if you gotta come next week to see me and bring it. I love you.
Love you too.
And if any drug dealers call, just hang up on them. Okay. Tell them I'm in rehab. Okay? All right. All right. I love you.
You can develop an addiction because you have a genetic propensity to it. People have trouble accepting it as a disease. They think it's a choice. They think it's psychiatric. People can develop an addiction but can't stop. They have to go further. They can't help it. It's chemical. It's genetic.
I know what I have to do.
It really doesn't make a difference where you come from. It's what do you do about it?
A lot of people are going to doubt you. A lot of people are going to say you're not going to make it, but you know what you have to do for you.
Stephanie is 41 years old. She has one daughter and a grandchild. She's been using drugs and alcohol for over 20 years. In and out of rehab multiple times, Stephanie has now been at care for several weeks. Staff and counselors feel that her progress is slow and additional work is needed. Her stay for further treatment will be extended.
My drug of choice would probably be a pill. We'll start off with alcohol. That would lead me to a pill.
Stephanie's major problem is Stephanie likes to be the center of attention.
I have choices. I have the choice to stay.
Stephanie right now has a very unrealistic point of view of where she's at. She thinks she's ready to go home. And the fact of the matter is she's not anywhere close to that.
I get a little voice in my head saying, these people are crazy at this meeting. These people are completely nuts. A lot of times people will be talking in the meeting and a turkey will go floating across the room, you know? I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner.
Obviously, we can't force her to stay, but we're going to encourage her to stay a little bit longer.
Maureen was scheduled to arrive at care earlier in the day, but she has other plans. She's been hitting the crack pipe for the last few hours. Her binge is not yet over.
Yes, I'm high now. For me to say, F you, get out, I'm going to get high, I'm not going to rehab, I wouldn't be the first person to do something like that. Even though I know that, you know, my children are expecting me to go through this, it's something that I would consider doing to get high. If you're not going to a bar or going to somebody's house, hanging out, drinking, and getting high, what do you do? I mean, you know, I can't imagine going to the beach without a cooler of beer and, you know, some drugs on me. Oh my goodness. I don't like walking in heels in the sand. I feel like I'm drunk. See if I can walk a straight line. No, I want to go sleep for a couple days. I don't think I'm ready to face myself right yet. I mean, really, are you having fun? Am I having fun? No, it's no fun anymore. It's no fun anymore. The party's over.
Maureen binged on crack for another 12 hours before showing up at the care rehab facility.
PTA Care, Dr. Wallet speaking. No, she needs to have a psych consult with Dr. Romanos first.
Located in South Florida, CARE is one of many centers dedicated to the treatment of addiction.
CARE stands for Comprehensive Addiction Rehabilitation and Education.
When we deal with addiction, we're dealing with what's going on in the brain. We're not necessarily dealing with the chemical that's putting it in. But really what we're treating is exactly the same thing. That's why we mix the eating disorder, the gambling, and the drug addiction all in the same program.
Psychologically, they're frightened. You're asking them to reveal the biggest shadows of their life to people that they don't know. It's a huge, huge mountain that they're trying to creep up and over to even get started on treatment.
All the clients are now in rehab. John, Stephanie, and Maureen will be joined by Connie, who is battling alcoholism, and Jason, a 29-year-old crack addict. The group is assembled. It is time to stop lying to themselves and others and get honest. Next on 28 Days in Rehab, the counselors question John's sobriety.
An addiction's an addiction, and man, if you're here, your life's a f***ing mess.